guys, my name is Rage and we are back today with a legendary review video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about, in my opinion, the legendaries that are top rated right now in the game based on their overall usage and whether or not you should invest in them fully. It is going to be ranked in the sense that I'll be talking about the lower priority characters first, going all the way to the top priority in terms of overall investment. We're going to take a look in terms of how they're utilized right now across the game modes, where they're utilized, as well as whether or not they're worth investing overall. And keep in mind as well, we're not going to include Adam Warlock being the newest legendary just because we haven't got a sense overall how he's going to synergize with his Infinity Watch team. So moving forward then, if we take a look at the roster now and filter it out by all the legendary characters, you can see in the game effectively right now there are 11 total characters. So starting off here, I do want to talk about the ones I would start fully investing in at the beginning, and that it's going to be starting here with actually Dr. Octopus. I have him quite low here, unfortunately, because of the fact that just haven't had the chance to invest in him. But Dr. Octopus's usage and what he brings to the Sinister Six team is absolutely immense. He can summon that extra shocker on the team, additionally granting the charges to his Sinister Six allies. And that missing shocker is also what provides that OFS up. On top of that, what's not really talked about too frequently is his regen and supportive capabilities that he does actually offer to his Sinister Six. They become quite a formidable team thanks to the Doctor. And on top of that, really where he gets value immensely is going to be the instances where he actually has immense resistance against the offense down, and he becomes quite formidable in war, especially if you have a charged Sinister Six team. It's gained that extra input and damage here, as you can see. Overall, a great character and really bolstering the Sinister Six team overall. A good recommendation, and as well viability in Dark Dimension 3 as well as Dark Dimension 4. So feel free to invest in him. I don't have him highly built, but again, he's a great all-round character, not only in the mid game but as well as late, and pushing even deeper into Alliance War as well as Dark Dimension. Next, I want to talk about two characters that are tied, in my opinion, in the same spot, and it's going to be Shuri as well as Invisible Woman. First and foremost, it's very similar how both these characters are actually attained. They're attained through either Spider-Verse, or the Sinister Six can actually achieve both if you guys have them because of that Spider-Verse classification. And so I'll start off here with Shuri. Not enough good things can be said about her. She has the defense up. She grants energy for her allies. I personally took her to Dark Dimension 3. That's why she's level 75 in Tier 14. And you know what? There's a strong chance I might even bring her to Dark Dimension 4, depending on how my gear shakes out to be. But a great character overall. She gains immense value overall as well in raids because of the fact that she actually allows them to have the deflect for allies when they drop below that 50% threshold. I don't use her too much in raids, so that's why I haven't leveled it up. But a great character overall when you need that second team and that main character really granting energy and defense up. And again, very achievable for the mid to late game players. Especially when the Sinister Six are, in my opinion, one of the easiest type of team synergies to gain early in the game. So you can get access to Shuri quite easily. And with her legendary event now being solidified permanently, same with the Nick Fury as well as Iron Man event, she's just very achievable and reachable now. So that's great for the free-to-play community. Next, Invisible Woman. Operates very similar to Shuri. She has the defense up for her allies here. The one notable thing about her that's different from Shuri is she doesn't grant energy, but she does actually have cleanse. And you can see she applies deflex during her ability. And as well, if the enemies are stealth, such as the Asgardians utilizing Loki's abilities, she's going to actually clear that stealth from the enemy. So that's really nice. The other nice thing about her is the fact that she has an ultimate here that actually applies offense down for 2 whole turns to all enemies. And again, I did actually bring her to Dark Dimension 2, but unfortunately the restriction with Invisible Woman is the fact that she is actually Biogear, and that conflicts directly with the symbiotes. It conflicts directly with characters such as Black Bolt needing that Biogear material. So I was in a conflict for that when I was pushing through my Dark Dimension 3, and she unfortunately just did not make the cut. However, I have seen players bringing her into Dark Dimension 4 as well, so once again, a great character. When you compare her overall to Shuri, she has less healing, but she has more abilities in the sense that she has that offense down that can really reduce damage, as well as the cleanse is always appreciated. Moving on then, that takes out the 2 healers and Dr. Octopus. I want to talk about now the upper echelon in legendaries that you should fully invest in. And you can already kind of get a sense just looking at the top of my roster here. But in my opinion right now, the next one is going to be Black Bolt. And Black Bolt, unfortunately, does lose credit in the sense that he's not as diverse as a lot of players think, you know. He is actually a one-trick pony in the sense that he's pure damage output. His abilities are absolutely insane amount of damage when he's utilized. He can be used in all game modes, especially RTA and Arena with him having the ability that whenever enemies are killed by Black Bolt, they cannot be revived. So that, in my opinion, is a future-proof aspect of his kit. It's something that's going to solidify him no matter where you take him in the game. That's why you see here all of his T4s are maximized in terms of abilities. I got the level 5 ISO 8 Striker on him. And overall, just an amazing character and leader for his Inhumans roster. The only downside, again, as mentioned earlier, is the fact that he is a one-trick pony in the sense that he's pure damage output. When enemies drop below that 25% threshold, he also attacks. And as you can see, villain tech is really where they get the brunt of the damage, especially having that 400% increased damage, as well as enemy summons having disruption, and you can see he clears that as well. So really, he's great against characters like Ultron, but overall he does lose value in the sense that competitively he's great, but you can't utilize him in any of the Dark Dimension nodes just due to the fact that, you know, he only does damage, and in Dark Dimension, it's about the scaling of damage and not so much raw damage, and that's exactly what Black Bolt is. That being said, though, overall, in all other aspects of the game, whether it be raids, arena, competitively, alliance war, you know, that's where Black Bolt truly shines, especially in his ability to take down an enemy, and they will not be able to get revived again. So that's absolutely immense in my opinion. So going forward, definitely a great character to invest in. Black Bolt does require that battle gear material, so that's also something to keep in mind, especially if you guys are planning to build a symbiote roster for the late game. And next, a top addition in my opinion now, recently going up, especially with Adam Warlock moving up the ladder, requiring specifically Jubilee to be unlocked in order to achieve that legendary. We need Jubilee built up, we need Jubilee, and you know, honestly speaking, she is one of the better legendaries in the game now as well. And one of the key things about her abilities is the fact that whenever she does actually take down an enemy, and with the negative conditions on that primary target, you can see that it will actually spread to all other enemies if she's able to actually kill them. So that's absolutely huge. She provides immense value and offense up abilities for her astonishing X-Men. On top of that, she's got a stun. She provides supportive capabilities such as the increase in speed, health boost. Having Jubilee on the team, synergizing with Bishop, getting those assisted attacks makes her extremely potent and actually puts her astonishing X-Men in one of the top 3 teams in the game for raids. In my opinion, a very top legendary. I'm building her up right now in preparation for Adam Warlock, but she definitely deserves more credit. Especially with the fact that she's the newest legendary in the game. Overall, Jubilee is a great character now, and with Adam Warlock coming, it just further solidifies and cements her place overall. Top of that, Jubilee is also viable for Dark Dimension. She can be utilized in all aspects of the game, even outside of raids. So overall, a great recommendation. I'm glad they brought her in, and she's just going to be an even better fit now with Adam Warlock coming in. And last but not least, it is going to be the 2 legendaries here, as you may have guessed, Ebony Maw and Phoenix being the top of the upper echelon. And in my opinion, it's hard to put one over the other because they both have very different uses in the game. First, let's start off with Phoenix. She's the first legendary in the game that actually requires a 6 yellow stars unlock, unlike all the other legendaries. And on top of that, her abilities are both defensive and offensive depending on the mode she's in. So with her, before she turns into Dark Phoenix, she has defensive capabilities to support her allies. She provides that stealth, that defense up, as well as cleansing in the sense that all the negative conditions come to her. And she also strips a lot of positive buffs from the enemies when the opportunity presents itself. Now, when we take a look at Dark Phoenix, you know, her abilities are quite different offensively. She has that vitality drain that actually scales with the percentage health of the enemies, which is extremely vital in Dark Dimension if you bring her on board. And to be honest, in the beginning of Dark Dimension 3, when the game first came out with that mode, she honestly became the only option because there was really no good way of getting through those enemies, especially when Ebony Maw wasn't in the game. Emma Frost wasn't there to cleanse the positives and apply that blind. So really having Phoenix and kind of resurrecting herself and using her her abilities over and over really became the only feasible way to get through. So I give her top respect for that, just being the viable option. But given how fast the game's changed now, that's why it's always great to reevaluate who's important. But overall, Phoenix's place is still quite cemented as being one of the top legendaries in the game. And overall, a top recommendation because she can be utilized in all other aspects, including arena, real-time arena as well, and raids, just due to her offensive capabilities, the fact that she can provide value for her team. I still think she's overall more useful in the competitive stage, just due to the fact that she has that extra edge in getting the revival and coming on with the extra abilities. And that's why I would recommend her still. But, however, her usage with Dark Dimension 3 not fully needing her anymore does decrease her value overall, but it does not take away from her abilities and her effectiveness as well as her synergy. Last but not least, Ebony Maw, in my opinion, is either the first or second best legendary in the game, depending on how you use him. For me, he can be utilized in all aspects of the game. Just his defensive capabilities, the support he has, him really being the forefront and core of the Black Order, especially with them being the top meta still in the game. I know there's counters with Kestrel as well as the Silver Surfer being in the game, but no one can deny that the Black Order is still the #1 synergy team outside of the hybrids. And it's really due to the fact that Ebony Maw's abilities is really a combination of some of the legendaries we looked at. Even his special here, applying a defense up and offense down at the same time. You can see it lasts for 2 turns. Absolutely immense value. It does cost quite a bit of energy, but synergizing with Thanos and getting that energy back, that's really how I was able to really gain a lot of success in my cosmic nodes in Dark Dimension 3. Just having Ebony Maw provide that backing and support was absolutely immense. Furthermore, having an ultimate ability that actually scales health percentage from the enemies, bypassing heal block, is really what adds immense value. And on top of that, by T4ing and pushing it to level 6 and beyond, you can see that he also does apply a slow for 2 turns, which really helps assist the team overall. And especially if you see here that for Black Order and Thanos allies, the speed bar is filled up for an additional 5% for himself as well as all the allies, and it scales with that. So that's why it's one of the best abilities in the game, in my opinion. Both defensive and offensive, depending on the mode you're in. For instance, with his ultimate, it scales extremely well in Dark Dimension 3. It can bring up your team all the way from the brink of death to full HP due to the fact that you're taking those massive health pools and applying it back to your allies. Last but not least, his passive really is what allows Thanos to have empowered effect coming on board. And even without Thanos having the full Black Order, he still gives him a couple of benefits with the stone. So, I mean, that's why it's so nice having Ebony Maw and synergizing. On top of that, the one thing we don't really talk about and mention too much is on the death of the enemy controller, he actually does gain the charges and provides immunity and a barrier for all allies. So, I mean, that is just icing on the cake. And especially if he's charged a hero controller that comes back, such as Phoenix, he actually has that ability to actually block their ability. So, I mean, you can see that really pervasive when you're going through Arena and RTA. But overall, you can see he also provides additional resistance to his Black Order allies. So, just not enough good things can be said about Ebony Maw, and that's really why I would place him at the top or the second best character legendary overall in the game. So overall, that's my assessment. Those are, in my opinion, the best legendaries right now to invest in fully in the game. So that just leaves Star-Lord, Magneto, Nick Fury, and Iron Man. And in my opinion right now, these 4 have different uses in the game overall, but would I fully invest in them in all aspects of the game? Not for the time being. Unfortunately, they are utilized in just specific modes. And honestly speaking, I do strongly believe your materials and gear is better utilized, especially with me having unlocked all the Doom Chapter 3 nodes now, as well as finishing Dark Dimension 3 twice. You can see these 4 aren't highly built because they just honestly weren't utilized too much in my opinion. They may provide help for you guys specifically if you are pushing through, but until they get further reworks to their teams, I do strongly believe that there's definitely going to be some more love for them in the future, such as Nick Fury. He did receive a slight buff with respect to Kestrel and having synergy with her. But overall, I do believe that these 4 right now are the ones to play cautiously on. That being said, the other ones mentioned being Dr. Octopus, Invisible Woman, Shuri, Black Bolt, Phoenix, Ebony Maw, as well as Jubilee, are all definitely worth your time and investment. and feel free to invest in them. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope this was able to give you some insight, especially if you're a mid-game player building towards the late game and looking to really see what you can potentially feel free to invest in. Thank you as always, you guys. I do appreciate your insight as well. Always, please let me know what you think. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.